Hello there everyone. I've been meaning to make a short video about how to estimate the monthly payments on a loan or mortgage in case you happen to have forgotten the formula, which I do all the time. So we suppose that you want to take out a loan of 1 million rand and the interest rate is going to be 9% for the purpose of this calculation. So what we'll do, just to make things easier, is I will use 10 to the power 6 to stand for a million, because that's easier to type and spot and not make a mistake. And what we'll do is we'll do monthly payments, and we have an interest rate of 9%, which is 0.09. But that's an annual rate, and I'm going to assume that the interest is compounded monthly. In practice, it's a bit more complicated than that, but I'll make another video about that one. So a 9% annual rate compounded monthly gives us a monthly interest of 0.0075, but I'm just going to use 0.09 divided by 12 because that's actually how you do it. And what we are going to assume is that the loan is to be paid back over 20 years. So the number of months for which we are going to make a payment is going to be 20 times 12 or 240. So I'll use 20 times 12 in the calculation as well, but this is just to remind you where that comes from actually. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to actually import a function which I'll use to make the exact calculation, but we'll do that right at the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to make two guesses. The first one is a bad one, and the other one is really not so bad. And I'll tell you how you can use these two guesses to really get a pretty good grip on what the answer is. So first of all, let's suppose that the interest rate is not 9% but 0%. If the interest rate is 0%, all you have to do is make a monthly payment of 1 million, that is your principal, divided by the number of months, which is 20 times 12. Please note that I put brackets around, and I'm doing this calculation in Python, but you can use it in any calculator, even Excel if you want. So that gives me a number of 4166.6666 repeating, which is kind of irritating because we're talking about numerical amounts. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round that to the nearest cent by applying the function round. So that gives us 4166.67, which is now not an exact answer, but that's also a topic for a different video. That's the first and the bad guess at how much your monthly repayment will be. As we'll see later, it is far too low. Let's make another thought experiment and estimate it in another way, which is also bad, but perhaps closer to the truth in this case. So we suppose that you are not paying back the 1 million rand over 20 years, but that you are never paying it back, merely servicing the debt. That means that there will always be 1 million rand that you owe the bank, but every month you will just pay the monthly part of the 9% annualized interest. In that case, every month we need to pay 1 million times 0.09 divided by 12. And again, I'm going to round the answer so that we have a number that looks like a currency amount. Whoops! There we get 7,500 rand, which is really a lot more than 4,100 and something. So that's just the interest on the full loan amount of 1 million rand. So if you paid back 7,500 rand a month, you would never amortize this loan. In other words, you would never finish paying, forget about in 20 years' time. So now we know that the amount that we pay back per month is at least 7,500 rand. So I'm just going to make a note that this is a good lower bound on the monthly payment. The bad lower bound is the 4166.67. On the other hand, we can actually, if we think about these numbers, we can come up with an upper bound for the actual number. So, in fact, if we were to pay off the loan as if there was zero interest, so just paying off the principal at 4166.67 Rand a month, and pay the interest of 7,500, and you might have to think about this a bit, but I'm sure that you will see my point, we can see that the sum of the two amounts is far more than is needed to amortize the loan. So 4166.67 but plus 7,500 is an upper bound that follows from what we've done already on the monthly payment. So now we see that the monthly payment is definitely between 7,500 and 11,666.67 Rand. What's the actual amount? Well, let's compute it using the appropriate function PMT from the Python NumPy library. This is a function which is called payment as well, or PMT, in Excel or most spreadsheets. Since I don't necessarily remember exactly how to use it, I go help PMT to see what the parameters actually are. So that functions works with a rate, a number of periods, and then a present value. Present value is the loan amount. So I'm going to do it like this. The rate is now the rate per period, which is monthly. So it's again 0.09 divided by 12. Number of periods is 12 times 20. That's the number of months in 20 years. And the present value is the principal amount of 1,000,000, or 10 to the power 6. If we do that, and now there is a sign issue because this is usual in these kinds of calculations, because the million is an amount of money that you get, and you will give the 8,900 years. So I'm just going to change the sign there so that we get a positive amount that we can compare with the other amounts which we have seen. So we see that that is 8,997 Rand, so as good as 9,000 Rand a month, which is actually not that much more than the 7,500 which we computed using our not so bad estimate for the lower bound. So the amount of, and of course I can also round this to make it look nicer and more like a proper currency value, unless I made, oh, there's Python's making a small mistake there. That's quite interesting. So that amount that we see here is actually quite close to the interest amount. It's just 1,500 Rand more, slightly less in fact, than the interest amount. So in the first month, you're paying 7,500 in interest, and only 1,500 goes towards the principal of the loan. So in fact, for a loan with a longer period of payback, looking at the interest amount per month and just assuming that your monthly payment is a bit more than that is actually quite a good way of estimating what the payment will be. Now, is our estimate of 7,500 plus the monthly payment for the zero interest case, is that a ridiculous upper bound? Actually, not really. There are certain cases for certain combinations of the payback period and the interest rate for which the amount that you compute as an actual monthly payment is very close to this amount. But that's a topic for a different video. And with that, I end this one, which I call the first in the In Your Interest series, which is about annuity calculations, interests, and everyday maths of money. Bye-bye.